that's when I discovered how much I loved stories. And then there was no looking back. I knew this was one fantastic tool and medium that I wanted to discover, and I needed to do it.
Give us an introduction about your puppets. I know you have your,
Yes.
trademark puppets.
My name is Mr. Tickles, and I like to go with Miss Artie.
So today when a child sets up puppet, it's a visual treat. And so you have to be very watchful of what you're giving them, even through entertainment.
If you don't mind me asking, you went through a health
Yeah.
issue because
Yes.
of the way you
Yeah,
do the
yeah.
activity. Hi, welcome to another episode of Tantrums to Triumphs. Today we are meeting a puppeteer who has been so popular in Bangalore that anyone we talk to about having a puppeteer over, there's only one name that comes out, and that's Aarti Katpalia. Aarti Katpalia is the founder of Tickles and Tales, and it's been 13 years since she started this venture. And we at Kids Adda have been proudly associated with her for a very long time. I mean, since 11 years, I think. And it's been a great journey. And even today, when we need a puppeteer at Kids Adda, it is Aarti that we go to. She is a pet parent to a Shih Tzu called Coco. And she loves listening to music. She loves meditative art. She loves being in nature and meeting new people. Her burning desire is to bring smiles to lots of kids and adults. And we will talk through this conversation about all that she does with her puppets. She travels everywhere and she brings a lot of happiness to everyone. Thank you, Aarti, for coming to Kids Adda all the way for our Tantrums to Triumphs episode. 13 years. Wow. How did it all start?
Well, thank you first of all, Dipti, for having me over. I mean, it's been fantastic. I think congratulations. I still remember the day where we met before you started the
Yes.
Kids Adda journey.
Coffee day.
Yes,
MG
Coffee
Road.
Day, MG Road, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's amazing to see what a beautiful journey you've had. So congratulations, and thank you so much for having me here. I'm super excited and looking forward to this one.
Thank you. So yeah, let's start. It's been quite some time, and I know since 11 years since we've started Kids Adda, you have been here on and off. I mean, this place knows
Yeah.
you very well.
Yeah.
So how did it all start? I understand you were a kindergarten teacher before.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about the transition to puppetry and puppet shows.
Sure. So for me, Dipti, honestly, my whole journey started for the pure love of children. And for me, since it was the love of children, the most natural thing was to be a teacher. And when I was a kindergarten teacher, that's when I discovered how much I loved stories, like, reading and telling stories to children. And it was only when I quit teaching is when I discovered puppetry, when I had done a teacher training on puppetry by Kathalya, Geeta ma'am. And that's it. Then there was no looking back. I knew this was one fantastic tool and medium that I wanted to discover, and I needed to do it. So that's where puppetry started.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And I think your puppets are very well known across Bangalore with the kids. When they look at the puppet, they know it is from Tickles and Tales.
Yes.
Yeah. So what inspired you to come up with... give us an introduction about your puppets. I know you have your, trademark puppets, and
Yes.
give us an introduction of how did you come up with those puppets and the names and the
Yes.
characters and
Yeah,
inspiration
so-
behind it.
Yeah, so actually, honestly, I had just gone to Bombay for a holiday, and that's when, in a mall, I happened to see these puppets, and I found them cute, and I just bought them. And yes, I would love for all of you to meet them. So this is my first puppet, and his name is Mr. Tickles. Can we all say hi, Tickles?
Hi, Tickles.
Hello, everybody. My name is Mr. Tickles, and I like to go with Miss Artie. Everywhere she goes, that's right. So this little character I just created, thinking it's going to be child friendly and kids love Tickles.
Yeah.
So what he usually does is he tickles naughty children, just to kind of break the ice and, for the kids to warm up to the session.
Yep.
And I also have another puppet friend who's a girl, and her name is Mrs. Tails. Can we all say hi, Mrs. Tails?
Hi, Mrs. Tails.
Hello, everyone. Here. You're Mrs. Tails. That's right. Like Mr. Tickles likes to tickle. Do you all know what I like to do?
Well, I named her Tails simply because she loves to tell stories in tales, and also because she's got a lipstick
if you can see.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just, made up a fun thing where she loves to kiss little kids. That's right. So it just adds like a fun, exciting element for kids.
Awesome.
Yeah. And Tickles and Tails, I always wanted some, fun name for the kids. And that's how I came up with Tickles and Tails.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
That is quite a, holiday there you had.
Yes.
It shaped your career.
Absolutely.
Holiday turned into, the future of our Tickles and Tails and Aarti Katpalia.
Absolutely. Dipti.
That is a fascinating story,
Yeah.
actually. So, how do you see that puppetry connects uniquely with children more than different forms of storytelling?
Right.
I mean, you've been
Yeah.
a teacher, you've done storytelling without
Yeah.
puppets, and
Yeah.
you've done a lot with puppets.
Yes.
So, what differences do you see in?
Yeah. So see, honestly, Dipti, I mean, storytelling, of course, a lot of kids listen to. We've heard, we've grown up with grandma's stories. But I think today with puppets, it's all about visuals, right?
Yep.
So today when a child looks at a puppet, it's a visual treat. And through visuals, when you add on voice modulations, when you add a drama element, when you add a character, a trait to a puppet, it brings a whole new character out. And that is the whole experience that a child loves
Yep.
than, just pure storytelling.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I know, I understand because I've seen a couple of your
Yes.
events. I've been to a couple of your workshops,
Yeah,
and I know
yeah.
how the children's face just light up the minute you bring the
Yeah.
puppets out. And I've also seen the amount of effort you take in creating your set.
Yes.
You are there at the venue
Yeah.
quite early.
That's right.
You have a screen, you
Yeah.
have the stand.
Yeah.
There's so much involved.
Yeah.
When people walk in, they see only the end result, which is okay. There's
Right.
a show, you're talking, you're giving a story, and the
Yeah.
puppets are dancing. But tell us a bit about behind the scenes. How do you prepare for it?
Well, it's a lot of hard work. Honestly, today you have to be updated with the themes.
Yeah.
Themes kids love, what kids want, about parents wanting, the right content to be told to the children. So you have to be very cautious about what you're narrating because kids are like sponges. They literally absorb everything you're giving them. So you have to be very watchful of what you're giving them, even through entertainment. I think more so when it's entertainment. So for me, I'm like constantly researching, be it stories, be it themes, trying to make it look very attractive, be it a setup, investing in different kind of screens, always constantly looking out for, exclusive puppets,
Yep.
a lot of props that I've invested in. I mean, today, if I may say so, my house is like a garage. Literally, I don't think I have my personal stuff as much as it's work stuff of Tickles and Tails. But I think it all comes in the whole game of puppetry and your profession. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I can totally relate to having so many different props because
Yes.
we being in the industry where we
Absolutely.
are entertaining children,
Yeah.
we are never short of props, right?
Yes.
There's always something that we need.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I also remember, if you don't mind me asking, you went through a health
Yeah.
issue because
Yes.
of the way you
Yeah,
do the
yeah.
activity. You
Yeah.
are on your knees
Yes.
throughout the time because the
Yeah,
puppets
yeah.
come up about the screen and you're doing things, you're on your knees and
Yes.
you had a health scare.
Yes, I did. So it was a huge learning for me personally, of course, because I started this whole profession as a passion, right? And when you're passionate about something, then you're just at the go and you're just doing things. And for me, I mean, as much as I was excited about themes and setups and, creating exclusive stories for kids, I think somewhere I didn't realize the importance of my knees because I usually kneel down and I have a screen set up where, the puppets pop up, and then I also have an interaction session in the front where I come and interact with the kids. But I think I perform at different venues
Yeah.
and there are different surfaces. So at one of the venues, I think it was an uneven surface where I really injured my knee very badly. So it was very painful. I was off work for almost 2-3 months. I had to do physio and all of it. So it was a challenge. But I think the biggest lesson that I learned that nothing's going to stop me from working.
Yeah.
Right. And I have my knee pads. I've made a special cushion that I use today. So I put the cushion, I wear my knee pads, and yes.
Yeah. So
And
many
fine.
lessons learned in
Yes.
this journey of, the last 13 years, right?
Absolutely, Dipti. But I think these are lessons that I would love. I'm glad I learned because it's taught me how important my profession is to me, and I'm very blessed to do what I love the most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Fantastic. So coming back to children and storytelling and puppetry, how do you think it helps children with their skills, emotional skills, patience, social
Yeah.
skills.
Yeah.
Have you seen any child transform?
Yeah.
Any stories that you can share that really touched your heart?
Yeah. So honestly, this has been 13 years of Tickles and Tears. So there are way too many, things that have touched my heart and I've had great experiences. But see-through puppets, it's all about emotions and expressions.
Yep.
So today we deal with children who have two extremes of emotions, right?
Yep.
I mean, there are children who are very shy, who have anxiety, to children who are extremely confident and who communicate so well.
Yeah.
But I think, when it comes to puppetry, the way you can deal with it or how it's helped, and I've seen it, is how the shy ones, initially touch the puppet. That's the first stage, and they're familiar with just the touching and then feeling. And then they get confident with just, feeling the touch puppet, talking to the puppet and things like that. And then, of course, I think puppetry has the other extreme where there are children who communicate, but they don't know how to express their emotions. So I think that's where puppetry comes in, if there's anger in a child, through puppetry, through a little story, they are able to express that emotion. So I think it kind of brings out the best in both the extremes of kids' emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also remember you do art workshops, right?
Yeah.
As part of your
Yes.
puppet show, and you create something finger puppets.
Yes, I do. So as a teacher, I've always, craft is something which is just, you all kind of know it, or,
Yep.
it's a part of it. So for me, when I used to do a lot of birthday parties, I always had clients saying, hey, you're coming and entertaining kids for half an hour. Why don't you just entertain them for 1 hour and
Yeah.
then the whole party is sorted? So that's when I added the craft,
Yeah.
So I do stick puppets, paper bag puppets,
Yeah.
fridge magnets, depending on the themes, I do
Yeah.
the craft activities also.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I like the way how you have included your art also in the theme that
Yes.
you are doing puppetry.
yes.
And I think those are the techniques that make the child feel relatable to
Yeah.
the puppet as well,
Yeah,
right?
and there's so much joy, right? When a
Yeah.
child creates something of their own, even if it's a puppet, it's
Yeah.
just such a proud moment for them to create something,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And to walk out with something that they created is something else.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what about the stories that you pick? How do you pick them? How do you
Yeah.
do you have to keep in touch with lot of children's stories?
Yes,
right?
yes, I do.
And there's
Yes.
so many now.
Yeah.
So what do you do? Like, tell us about a
Yeah.
bit about your routine. Is there like every day you have to read a story
Yeah.
and think about how you're going to implement it in your puppet show?
Yeah.
How do you work with it?
So, Dipti, I'm constantly on the lookout. I mean, that doesn't stop at all, right? I mean, today I have a set of 25 stories that I offer to a client, and they can
Okay.
pick one story, and that's what I do. But I'm constantly looking out. I mean, in today's day and age, you see the themes, the movies. I mean, there's constantly so much.
Yeah.
And I think as a storyteller, as a puppeteer, there are also particular stories that touch your heart. There are particular themes that are very close that you want the children to learn of.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a mixed bag of stories that I have. It could be from storybooks, it could be from movies,
Yeah.
it could just be stories that I just found somewhere,
Yeah.
So anything that touches my heart and that makes me believe in the story is what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, see, puppets generally just bring a smile out. Whenever people see puppets, it is just a
Yeah.
happy moment, right? But your stories will involve various kinds of emotions as well,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
How do you handle the different emotions of
Yeah.
a story using this very,
Yeah.
fun-loving looking
Yeah.
puppets?
Yeah. So see, I think that's the best part about my job, right? I mean, the creativity is unlimited.
Yeah.
So today, how I give and put this whole platter of puppetry and emotions to the children is up to me. So that's where I include fun elements, like it could be songs, rhymes. I try and use musical instruments. I add a drama element to it.
Okay.
So when you put all of them together, it's a beautiful package for a child to experience in a span of 30 minutes as a show, right, as entertainment. So I try and make it very fun and interactive through whatever my experience and knowledge that I have of. And I think that kind of helps, because you never know, some kids, it's the visuals that, really, help them or connect with them. For some, it's just, a drama element, maybe a character. So you never know what triggers which kid. and
Yeah.
how the emotion flows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sure kids don't want your show to end. Ever. They probably just want it to continue on and on.
Well, there are days where even I want it
Yeah.
to go on and on because
Yeah.
you just have such an amazing audience. Of
Yeah.
course, I have a challenging audience too, but that's the fun of it, right? It's
Yeah.
the beauty, and you go with the flow.
Yeah. You mentioned challenging audience.
Yes.
I know you work
Yeah.
with NGOs
Yeah.
as well.
Yes.
And you have done shows for free also
Yeah.
at a lot of
Yeah.
orphanages
Yes.
and also other schools.
Yes. Yes.
Tell us a bit about that. How did you start that? How was your experience?
Yeah. So Dipti, honestly, this started actually a very dear friend of me introduced me to one of her friends who was running an NGO called A Little Dream. And, I just met her over tea, and our tea was for some 4 to 6 hours. I don't know how many cups of teas we downed, but, it was then that we both realized how passionate we were about giving back to society and children. And I had promised her I'm going to do one show on charity basis from my end. And it's been a decade now, and I can't tell you the amount of soulful work that we've done together, be it at hospitals, slums, orphanages. And I just realized, I had an opportunity, but this is where my heart was.
Yeah.
Right. And that's when the whole connection with the cancer hospitals began. And I started working a lot with, Kidwai Hospital back then, where I used to go once a week and just go into the wards,
Yeah.
entertain the kids through stories and puppets and games and crafts. And, it was just a bag full of goodies that I used to take every week. And I had 1 hour slot.
Yeah.
And it was the most soulful experience ever. And I'm absolutely grateful because that made me realize a lot about life, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that is something I'll never stop doing. It's
What was
something.
the most emotional moment for you?
Okay, I hope I don't cry, but in Kidwai, there was this little child who used to always pick my puppets and props and run away, to the wards and everything. And I used to always check on him and, just say, stop playing with my puppets and everything. And then I think the next week I had got a very bad viral. And I obviously didn't go to the hospital because I didn't want to affect the kids. But when I went back after almost 4 weeks, the child was no more. And I was so guilty. I was going through the most emotional journey of my life because I had sleepless nights. I used to get dreams like, why did I shout at him? And it was a whole mixed bag of emotions that I went through. But I think the whole learning, the biggest one that I came out with the healing of that little child was today I don't see a show as a show, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's about that smile, and it's about the $1 million smile, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So today when I perform, it's not about giving 100, it's about giving 300% no matter what.
Yeah.
Even if my knees wear out, I know I have to give 300 and walk out because that's the best I need to give to the children. And I feel that is, my whole purpose in life today.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is a very touching story,
Yeah.
and I can't imagine what you would have gone
It
through.
was a really tough one. I think I took months to come over it, but it's taught me the biggest lesson, right?
Yeah.
That today it's not about doing shows and number of shows. It's about the $1 million smile, and that's exactly Tickles and Tails'
Yeah.
tagline: spreading $1 million smiles. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, it is the work you're doing is fantastic, especially with Tickles and Tails. But this particular work that
Yeah.
you have taken on, the
Yeah.
voluntary work, that going to hospitals and entertaining children, it is really satisfying.
Yeah.
Right.
And Dipti, I also realized, see, there are some children that today, they can reach out to me, but there are a lot of
Yeah.
children who can't reach out to me, and I need to go to them, right? And that's when it really hit me, saying, I need to do these kind of events to kind of balance and bring that, the beauty out in children through their smiles. Yeah.
Wow. That is a very heart-wrenching story.
Yeah.
Actually. Yeah. So let's come back to, the
Yes.
storytelling side of it.
Sure.
What has surprised you most working with children, with your puppets?
See, today, I think when you look at children, they're so intelligent, they're so observant, right? But I think today when I do stories, when I do puppet shows, I've realized that I absolutely love how they question, right?
Okay.
I mean, today, if I'm narrating a story, they don't have to sit there and believe in the story. They want to know the ifs, the buts, the whys. And I think that is so amazing because I think when we were kids, maybe we didn't question so much.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think it's very important,
Yeah.
for children to know. And I think that is something which is surprising me every day, and I love the fact that they do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes you must just wonder, I never thought of this question.
Absolutely. And I absolutely surrender, right? I mean, if I don't know the answer, I don't play along. I just surrender and say, I don't know, please tell me, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And they all have their perspectives, right?
Absolutely. And that is the beauty of it, right? Where
Yeah.
you get to know what they're thinking and their imagination and the expressions are coming off.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, that's what I like.
Yeah, it's important for parents to understand that it's not just about them listening to the story.
Yes.
It's about so many other skills that develop when they're listening to the story and they're seeing these puppets in action, and they're taking home more than just a story.
Yeah.
Right.
And kids connect, I'm sure if it's in a story, there's some character they connect with or some incident they connect
Yeah.
with. Or, if they've had a fight with a kid and there's a scene of it in the story,
Yeah.
they can immediately connect and they can relate to it.
They can relate to
Right.
it.
So there's a lot more to it.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. That's a lovely, perspective there, Kids
Yeah.
connect to what is being told and what is being displayed there.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, how do you see puppetry evolving from here on? I know there is
Yeah.
so many kinds of puppets already.
Yes.
And traditional puppets were the stick puppets.
Yeah.
People hold in
Yes.
them and dance, and that's a special skill, right?
Yes.
And now there's so many different types of puppets.
Yeah.
Where is it going?
So honestly, Dipti, I think today puppetry has a lot of scope if you look at it, be it for an educator, be it for a parent, be it for a child. I think the medium is beautiful and there are still a lot of people who need to explore this medium. Right? And I think there is so much scope because through puppetry, what is puppetry? When everybody asks me what is puppetry, it's all about expression, right? It's a medium of expression for children. So I think there is a lot of people who have to actually discover it still, but I think it has a bright future out there. Yeah.
Awesome. How can parents ensure
Yeah.
that the children are creating some puppets, or
Yeah.
how do you is there any simple tips that you can give to parents where they encourage children to create some puppets based on the story that they've read?
Yeah.
Nothing complicated,
Right.
simple, and it also really helps the child and also the parents, keeping them away from gadgets and everything.
Right. So like Dipti, how you have a beautiful place like Kids Adda, where your whole purpose is, for them to just play and be.
Yeah.
Right. I think puppetry is again one of those things, right? Like today, a parent could just, just how I created Tickles and Tails, could create a character puppet. Just use it to teach, habits to children, general knowledge, or, teach them about reading, teach them about, anything that they want. That is the beauty of this whole medium. That you can use it in whichever way you want.
Yeah.
Right? So today a parent could just introduce, even if it's not a physical puppet, you can just create an invisible person and say it's a puppet.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So it kind of creates a beautiful bond between a parent and a child.
Yeah.
Right? And at the end, it's all about communication. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
I think it's a beautiful way that a parent can start off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they can use papers, cutouts.
I think the best way you can start off is just recycle stuff at home. Just start collecting it and then, have a one Sunday or any day that the parents are free, create puppets.
Yes.
Make a name out of it, create a character, put a trait, put a personality, and it's there.
Yeah. And the children feel so proud about creating something on their own as well, right?
Absolutely.
It becomes their and they develop. If they are able to connect to it, they can understand their strengths there as well.
And they also have more value for it because they've created it from scratch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So any important lesson that you want to share based on your 13 years of experience, especially?
Yeah.
I know 13 years is a long time, right?
Yeah.
What is the main difference you see in kids and parents, say 10, 11 years ago to today?
Yeah. So see, honestly, earlier, I think, of course, the attention span was much better for obvious reasons. With technology today, kids are so restless. And I could see the change after the pandemic, especially, right? Because when I did a session, I knew after 15 minutes the kids are getting restless, they're walking around, and I could immediately sense it. Yeah. But today I feel, if you ask me, the most important lesson that I would want to, through my shows, I think it starts from the very basic thing of being kind.
Okay.
Right? I would want to teach children just to be kind, be it a human, be it an animal, be it anybody. I think it's very important in today's world. I mean, with technology, the way life is going, the lifestyles we are leading, you know, kids having so many pressures and they're exposed to so much, you know, today that I think the importance of kindness is very important.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
being sensitive, empathetic to each other is very important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think as much as we concentrate a lot on academic skills
Yeah,
and other professional development skills or co-curricular activities, what makes a true human being is the kindness, the respect, the empathy, and the emotional quotient that a person has. And
absolutely, Dipti, and that is one of the reasons why I also started the initiative of Inclusion Matters, a community.
Yep.
Because see, today working with children, you know, I mean, we are meeting so many kinds of kids today, be it neurodiverse or you know, kids with disabilities. You know, they are treated differently, and it's not nice. You know,
Yeah.
so kids who are normal have to be very sensitive towards these kids and be okay to be around them, right?
Yeah.
And that was the whole initiative of Inclusion Matters today, and why it's so close to my heart.
please tell me a bit more about Inclusion Matters. I think we
Sure.
haven't covered that at all.
Sure. So it's me and three of my friends, Vivian from Rhythm and Rhyme, Anaita from the Green Pocket Preschool, and then there is Pramila from Small Bites, who's a dentist. So we all have started our journeys, you know, around the same time. So it's been a decade and more since we've been in the education space. And we just caught up for a fun lunch one day. And just while conversation, you know, we came up with a thing like today's kids are the way they are. And it's so important for us as educators to create an awareness of inclusion among kids. And there, you know, started the initiative. We said, let's do an event, curate an event, which is open to all kids, a public event. So we had like shopping stalls, workshops, activities for kids, artists like me and, you know, other artists coming in, performing. And it was just a beautiful, fun experience of art, sensorial experiences, you know, for children to just come and be themselves.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm very, very proud that we've done almost around 4 to 5 events in a span of a year and few months.
Wow.
And yeah, I think there is a lot more that we can do there.
Yes,
Yeah.
you definitely are making a difference in a lot of ways and bringing smiles, like your tagline says, bringing $1 million smiles to everybody, not just through Tickles and Tales, but also through Inclusion Matters. And I can see that knowing you for a very long time, I know that whatever you plan to do, in whatever new venture or vertical, bringing smiles is always going to be your aim.
Yes.
So it was really wonderful talking to you. I mean, I got to know so much more about you. I keep seeing your posts on social media, and you are going places, you're doing so many shows, so many events. It is amazing to see how many kids enjoy what you are, you know, all your services basically, whether it's through Inclusion Matters or through Tickles and Tales. Thank you so much actually for coming and talking to us. It has been a pleasure. And Aarti Katpalia from Tickles and Tales, her handles will be there in our comments in the description. Do follow her, and follow her even in person, because wherever she is, her shows are amazing and kids will definitely love it. Thank you so much, Aarti.
Thank you so much, Dipti. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Of course, knowing you personally and you know, doing this today is really special. And all the very best. Wishing you many more successes to come. And yes, keep watching us. Bye.